What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Movement Mindset powered by Station Athletics. I'm Chris Hardenberg here with Dave Whitson. And today we're going to be we've been talking a lot of fitness lately. So we're going to talk a little bit of business. So if you're a member, don't turn the dial. There's still some value here.
Yeah. Most business principles carry over to real, like everyday life if you're not a business person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be talking about the importance of having a good team in business. So I thought this was really important because it's something we've been talking about a lot, especially Joe and I, that I feel like our team has continued to level up and scale up as we've grown. And frankly, Dave, you're a great example of that. You would have never started working for us if we were not in the position we're at right now.
Yeah, the timing worked out well for me personally, and then where Station Athletics is business-wise.
Yeah. And I know because you ran SOAR before working for us, from what you've told me, you saw a humongous evolution of the quality of the staff that you had.
Yes. Yeah. Because we started like most most businesses where it's, hey, we do this because we love it. And then you have to realize like there's a business side to it.
Mm-hmm.
And all the things you love, you have to do a bunch of things you don't love in order for those things to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit and talk about how the importance of leveling up your team, or having a good team around you as you scale.
Yeah. So for what I learned early on is that I can only do so much. So at first it's you do everything.
Yep.
Right. And then you kind of fall into the trap of if stuff isn't done the way you want it, you just start doing more and doing more and doing more. And at first, quite honestly, it feels good because you think you have control.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues that business owners, and also it happens in the house too.
Yep.
It just does. Where you start doing more and more and more. So you feel as though you have control of the outcome and you have control of all these variables. And the problem with that is what you end up losing is all control of your time completely, because everything's dependent upon you. And since we're all human, we have a tendency to go towards whatever sometimes is the laziest or efficient option. And so the more I did for my employees instead of guiding them and how to do it with my team, the less they started to do in all categories. And so it just started to all kind of snowball to Dave did way too much. And then Dave gets angry at everyone and they don't know why I'm angry. And I wasn't good at expressing why I was angry because I didn't have a full picture looking down, being like, wait a minute, I caused all of this.
Yes.
So yeah.
It was funny because we actually me, you, and Shannon had a meeting the other day, and I admitted to you guys, I was like, hey, I'm figuring this out because this is the first time where I have not had a direct pulse on everything that's going on in every location at one time.
Yes.
And so it's been a process of like, okay, I got to trust Shannon. I got to trust Dave. I mean, it literally happened the other day. I had some, as you know, time is like not the best for me because then I just start like meddling. And so I was like
when you're homesick and we all knew we don't get a lot of messages.
Yeah. So I literally, JJ, started looking into like Ledgewood's text campaigns or text stuff just to like see what the conversation was. Because Dylan, the general manager there, he's doing great, but he's new.
It's brand new.
And so I sent him some feedback on some of the text responses, and Shannon takes
going so well.
Shannon takes a screenshot of the text she sent him that said the same exact thing I said to him. And I was like, message received. I'm going to leave this alone.
What's even better is I knew this happened already.
Oh, did she tell you?
Shannon told me.
Well, she was like, this MFer, he's just like always in the way.
Well, Shannon goes, because when Summit opens, Dave, this might happen, just so you know. I'm like, I'm kind of more okay with it, Shannon, because you've been here a lot longer than me.
Yeah.
Still new.
But again, I've had to learn that. And there was a lot of letting go when I shifted from running a gym to managing the staff.
Yes.
That was a big switch because in the beginning I would overstep and talk to members when it's like, no, that's my job now as so-and-so's job.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool. Now I have to coach them on how to handle it. And now I have to go from coaching the GMs to handling it to, it's more of like setting the vision, setting the direction, and then like giving you guys like parameters to work in and then letting you run and do it.
Yeah. and then giving us the time to do the things.
Yes.
Because your timeline in your head is different than the timeline that we actually have,
Correct.
which is also from the district managers to the general managers too. But all that is communication. So
Right.
that's the more open the communication is with the team, the better it is. As long as people are trying to hide stuff or waiting, hide stuff maybe isn't the best way to do it. As long as people on the team know that not knowing how to do something is okay,
Yes.
just reach out. You're better to reach out early and to have that grace built into the team,
Mhm.
right? So you're unified, and there's also the grace there to, the expectation isn't for you to be 100% of the time, all the time, no matter what's going on.
Right.
Like we're all there to kind of pick up anything that falls through the cracks because it takes more than one person to do that.
For sure.
No one person's perfect. Like for me, when the first time I hired a manager, it was crazy because it's like force multiplier.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate that she was so on it that she did a very good job up managing me too,
Yes.
because she went from client to a trainer making really, really good money to management. And so she was up managing to me things that needed to happen that maybe I didn't see right. And then I was helping her with, hey, you can't bash everyone over the head to get what you want,
Right.
because she was so aggressive with certain aspects, which is great as long as it's not aggressive towards a client, right?
Sure.
Aggressive towards goals.
And
But
that's something
the
that
force multiplier aspect of it is just astounding when you
Yeah.
have the right people.
I literally said to Joe one day after class, I was like, I think I said this to you, but I was like, dude, is it weird when you move up that like you have people you can say, hey, we need this done, and it just gets done? Or like the other day you sent me, hey, we had an issue with Westfield, so I just typed this up, wanted to run it by you. And I was like, I didn't even know this was a problem. Right. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I was like, Dave, this looks great, and it's happened so many times with you and Shannon specifically, because you guys are the people I talk to on a regular basis now. And like you said, that it's so important to get those right people on a team, because you can't do everything yourself. Like if you want listen, if you're a solopreneur and you're cool with that, like I just want to show up to work every day, this is what the business is, it pays my bills and that's it. Like there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but like we have really big goals.
Yes.
And
There is a goal with real timelines too.
yes, and
Yeah.
so for us to get there, like it has to be scale, hire a good team, develop a team, step back.
Yeah.
And so that's really, if you want to grow a killer business, like that's a non-negotiable.
Mhm.
And you need to hire people and bring people and on ramp them that can not just are good doers, but they have to really I put in my notes, like they have to carry the mantle, like they have to carry the vision forward.
Yeah. So the more bought in someone is to the values and the mission, the easier it is for them to make decisions without even talking to you.
Right.
Because if you have the philosophy and the values down for the business, and this is true like personally too, for yourself, for your family, whatever it is, when you're faced a hard decision or a problem, it's an easier choice on what to do.
Mhm.
If you're just trying to be right or make things look good, so to speak, instead of going towards value, philosophy, mission, um, it's way more confusing because every time you're faced with a problem, you don't have a guide to
Right.
get there.
Right.
You just kind of, let me see, oh, one's going this way. Let's see how I do. And that's how you get in trouble, especially in any service industry. If you're people facing, you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
You just are.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the more bought in people are and that's the importance of leadership actually having values and a mission and putting it out there repeatedly.
Yep.
And most people don't like to do that, even in their own families and business, wherever it is, because they're almost, I fell into this where I'm like, no, we already talked about this. Why don't you know it?
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, no one cares as much as you do. So part of developing a team is repeating yourself. You are captain repeater when you're in charge of a team.
It's so true. And I forget what book it was, but as people know on the team know, I try to intake as much information as possible, because I truly, as much as the team probably doesn't think it's the case, I really want to be good at this. So
I wouldn't say they don't think that's the case.
yeah, but I forget what book it was, but basically they said that is like, they said you should look at management like parenting a child. And it's like you have certain rules and regulations, and what does the child do? they push the envelope on them all the time.
Yeah, it's just
And so
human nature.
you literally just repeat yourself. Like I can't tell you how many times I've repeated to my son, don't jump on the couch. Right. And there's consequences involved in that process, but he's 9. So like he's gonna jump on the couch sometimes, but it's at the point now where if he's jumping on the couch, Tiff or I could be like, Riley, and he knows what that means and he sits down.
Mhm.
And so at the end of the day, adults are just big children. Like we're all humans.
Yeah.
And so like our natural default is to unfortunately try to cut corners, try to,
Easiest path that we got.
exactly be comfortable. And as in management, you have to try to find ways to do it with a good heart, with love and grace, so that people want to do it, as
Mhm.
opposed to like people don't enjoy being screamed at and being ruled
No.
with fear.
No.
And so, but yes, you become captain repeater, where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, we talked about this.
Mhm.
And then, you know, I think that's something that most people in management or gym or business owners struggle with, is exactly that, where it's like in my head,
Why don't you know this?
yes, because this runs on repeat in my head,
Yep.
but it doesn't in your head. And that's the tough part about management, is I have to get it to run on repeat in your head. It's never going to do it the same amount as it does in mine, but almost as much, so that
Yep.
you can then, like you said, start making decisions without talking to me.
Well, it goes into being bought in, because if you're not bought in, it's hard to take ownership over what you're responsible for,
Right.
right? And so if you're supposed to be a good steward of your responsibilities and you're not bought in, it's probably not going to go great.
Right.
And because you're just checking in, checking out, and then it's tough. And that's where we've talked a little bit about this, like the different levels of thinkers,
Yes.
because part of the team is having the right people in the right positions, because you can say you want all these things, but if it's not the right position for you, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone ends up getting mad. It's not good for anyone. And I think that's part of a growing team too, is, hey, this person is bought in, but do they have the skill set, or they have the ability to build the skill set to go to the next level?
Yeah.
Because this person might be bought in, but their best place is here.
Yep.
And we shouldn't go here with them, because it's going to be trouble. And that's when I first learned the whole checklist thinker, if then thinker, problem solver, problem forecaster. And then the top level is relationship builder,
Mhm.
because that's CEO stuff, where it's you build the relationships to help move the business forward.
Right.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that, which is why a lot of people don't like CEOs, is because they're like, what do they do anyway?
Yes.
More than any of you even know.
Right. And they're
Like,
like, they're
no
always
idea.
on the golf course. And it's like, well,
Business meeting.
yeah, they're on the
It
golf
is.
course because they're brokering a multi-million-dollar deal with this guy that's actually going to help the business move forward to what
Mhm.
their 2025 projections are for.
Yeah. It's like the country club that's by my house. Like every parent's trying to get their kid as a caddy or to work as wait staff, because it can help you get a job,
Yeah.
because so much business is done in those conversations, and the high level stuff. People don't even realize it.
Right.
You know, like, oh, having dinner, going out. And you're like, he's just going out to lunches, and he's meeting with 5 people who are going to change the face of the business.
Right.
Or he's trying to see if they'll change the face of the business.
Right.
And you won't even know it till 6 to 12 months after you have that sit down.
And that's so important. And it's like, you as a business owner can't progress to that. You physically can't progress to that point without having the right people in place.
No.
And there's 2 things in that, right? There's growing the team,
Mhm.
because in the beginning, right? Like, let's face it, when you're really, really small, like money is not a draw. Right? Like, hey, you know what? You're gonna come work for me and I'm gonna pay you next to nothing. Sound good? It's like, so what happens? The people who end up getting hired are younger.
Yep.
They don't have as many skills. But they love you, they love the place,
Mhm.
whatever the case is. And so when you so that's where you have to have, we talked about certain core values or certain things that resonate with you. So like for us, when we were, a couple years ago, it's like, I want someone who works really hard. I want someone who identifies with our 6 core values. And I want someone who identifies with our mission statement of being fulfillment centers, that we want to help our members feel fulfilled. And it's like, cool, if I can have those things, and you can tell when someone's bought in, like they're just doing things around the gym just because they're cleaning without you
Yes.
asking them. They're putting up fun posters around, or like organizing events. It's like, all right, this person's bought in.
Mhm.
Then it's like giving them the opportunity to be like, okay, cool. Do you want the next role? Yeah, I do. Great. Let's learn that skill.
Yep.
Let me teach you that skill. And then what happens is, if you have the right people, then they learn the skills and they move up in the business, and then they become a beacon for everyone new coming down, because they're able to say, no, I was a trainer. and
Yep.
now I run 8 gyms.
Shannon eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Shannon literally went from coaching class, that's it,
Well,
to
client, right?
that's right.
Or
She was a
client.
client, and we did an interview with her. She was overweight. It wasn't
Yeah.
like she came in like, "Oh, I've been an athlete my whole life." No, she was
No.
overweight. She lost a ton of weight,
Mhm.
did the program herself, became a coach, became a general manager. Now she's a district manager.
Yep.
And so it's really easy then to be like when you talk to someone who's maybe 23, 24 years old, wants to get into coaching and is like, I want to make this a thing. You could easily be like, well, see that woman? She did that.
Yep.
And so come in and work your butt off and it could be you.
Mhm.
It's super powerful. And then the other thing is like hiring is you have to have a good hiring process.
Yeah, it's tough. Usually learn in painful ways
Oh
how to
my
change
gosh,
your
yeah.
process. Is what happens.
Because you can start to recognize, and I'll let you kind of speak on it. Like if you have the right hiring process, the number of people you have to let go or bad hires falls off a cliff.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always hard to hire. Like, if anyone's ever worked at a restaurant, the staff rolls over constantly.
Yeah.
If you work at a restaurant where the staff there's been someone on staff there for 5 years, it's an outcast. Like, usually not that way. The only places that happens is kinda diners,
Mhm.
right? There's a diner by, where Nas and I go by us, and they have some staff there that they wait tables 30 plus hours a week. Sounds crazy, right? Know how much money they make?
Right.
It's absurd because that diner is run so well. Everything is seamless. And now, because business background, I'm watching, and you can see all the layers that they have figured out, and everyone knows their responsibility. So never once have I sat there and been like, "Oh, I need some more water. Oh, I need a check. Hey, I wonder where our appetite." Never has happened ever
Mm.
because it's so smooth. Every time we go, someone from management comes over and says hello, and they go to every single table real quick. Don't spend too much time, just enough to like the, hey, how's it going? Is there anything that you need? Hey, I know you come. They notice when you come a lot.
Right.
They're to the point where their management team knew that I wasn't working and that I was looking to work. And so every once in a while, one of them would be like, "Hey, how's the job hunt going? What are you up to?"
Oh my gosh.
And so it's crazy to think, but that's also, it's so comfortable for us to go back to. And it's the whole, since they show that they care, it makes me care about the place automatically.
Yeah, it's the law of, what's it called? The law of, like, reciprocity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's crazy because the management that's there doesn't need to come over. They're busy. I know they're busy. They're looking at everything, but they have their structure is so good. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever, which I will never own a restaurant in my life. I've watched way too many restaurant shows. I know people that own restaurants. I would never want to deal with that side of like service industry stuff.
Yeah.
It is crazy. But they have hired a staff. Like, I'm curious about their hiring process because
Right.
we've never had a bad waiter or waitress there ever. So like for me, at first it was, you're just so happy that people want to work for you. And then you're so happy that people enjoy what you enjoy. And then you realize you need to change how you look at it. That's where like hire slow, fire quick.
Mhm.
And there's some CEOs of businesses that have really, really brutal ways to doing it. The Coca-Cola CEO, he's not the CEO anymore, but he used to fire people in front of everyone
No
because he
way.
didn't want to teach the lesson again to everyone on his staff.
Wow. Yeah.
That's where it's like, that's too much for me. I couldn't
Right.
do
I
that.
couldn't do that.
I couldn't do that either. But yeah, hiring and then allowing, I cannot have my will and belief that this person's a good fit outweigh their own belief that they're a good fit. And I've done that too,
Yeah.
where I'm like, no, you are able to do this. And they were plainly telling me they couldn't.
With their actions.
Yeah, like they just weren't doing it and they couldn't even see why they weren't doing it.
Right. Like they weren't sitting there and telling you like, I'm not doing it. Like those people are easy. Like, all right, you're defiant. Like, well, this isn't
Done.
working out.
Yeah.
They're well-meaning people, but their actions were like, no, I'm not doing this. And you're sitting there like, I see all your potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's tough.
Yeah. Like I had one coach where constantly wanted more, and we tried it and it never worked. And I finally snapped and I wasn't direct enough with her. I wasn't clear enough. I was trying to be clever.
Yeah.
Never a good idea. I was like, listen, I know what you're saying. I understand that you want that, but in no way have you shown that that has worked. I still have to remind you to empty the trash on Tuesday when you're done coaching because that's on your list of things. Because we didn't have a bunch of super part-time coaches. We had
Right.
more, right? So I'm like, that's one of your duties is take out the trash. And I know every Wednesday morning I'm gonna have to take out the trash. So like I get it, But if you compromise in the little, you compromise in the lot, and how you do these little things shows me how you're going to handle bigger stuff.
And that's so true. I mean, just to kind of like maybe put a little bit of a bow on this
Yeah.
was like, we talked about how you want to grow the team, you want to grow the team that has the capabilities to grow and hire for the team and have a good hiring process. But what I forget again, I'm blanking. I must be getting old, but I can't remember who said it. But it was something along the lines of like, as you elevate, you just become the one who holds the line. Like,
Yes.
like what if you're a CEO or you're just an owner of a small business or whatever, like you have to have the one have to be the one that has the least tolerance
Yep.
because the staff is going to let slide what is tolerable or
Yep.
what is tolerated, I should say. And so if a lot is tolerated that you don't like, that's where the staff is going to go.
And then don't push it further. Because
Exactly.
your standard is whatever you allow.
And that's exactly it. And so at the end of the day, you need to have a good team in business. And as you start to let go, it's understanding, okay, I'm letting go of the physical act of the responsibility, but I need to hold the standard so that when people come up short, because they are going
Yep.
to, they're human, you have to be like, hey, that's not the expectation here.
Yep.
Right. For us, it's like if a coach goes into class and they don't demo any of the movements or watch anyone practice them, it's like, hey, that's not good enough here. Right. That might have worked at your last gym.
But it's not what you're going to do.
That's not good enough here. And you have to do that right away because most people also want to do a good job. Like most people don't go into a job like, man, I can't wait to suck today. Right. Like
I think you've been removed from the job market a little too much.
I'll say most people coming into a fitness job are not in it for the riches. And
No.
so they do it because they like it. So they want to do a good job.
And they're used to working hard usually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's like giving them that feedback immediately is setting you up for success in the future.
Yeah. Set the expectation, hold everyone accountable to it.
For sure.
Just like you do with clients. Same thing.
So yeah, guys. So if you're a gym business owner, this was a great episode because I wanted to talk about scaling up, but also the importance of having that team, and going through the pains to get the right team in place so that you can scale up the way you want. So as always, guys, like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram. Give us a 5-star rating on the podcast platform you listen on. We'll see you at the gym.